Good morning. My own version of the 5 a.m. club, but it's 5:45. It's Monday morning. This video is going to be taken down on Thursday afternoon. If you're looking for your next or your first buy-to-let property, I know lots of you are, today could be your lucky day. By the end of this video, once you've watched it, you'll know how and what to do to have a property allocated today, tomorrow. If you do that, then it could be in your name with solicitors by the end of today. It could be in your own name within 2 to 6 weeks from there, depending on how long the conveyancing takes. Something that's a little bit out of our control. It's quite an unusual video. I'll tell you why I'm making it now. Listen to the end and you'll see what to do next. My name's Jess. I'm a landlord. I'm also founder of forthelandlords.com. Forthelandlords.com is a lettings business. We collect rent, we fix leaky taps, we do all those things that a normal letting agency does. We manage the property long term, but we also find, fix and rent properties for our clients. So if you want a buy-to-let property, we've got a team out there across the UK who will find the right house in the right area. If it needs a renovation, they'll put a renovation into it, and then we'll rent it out and manage it long term as well. So you don't have to lift a finger. Maybe you live 200-300 miles away from that property. You can't get to it, you couldn't find it, you couldn't speak to the estate agents to find it, you couldn't deal with all those things, you couldn't organise the renovation, and then managing a property remotely from a couple hundred miles away isn't practical for most people as well. So we will look after all of those things. Like I say, it's a rare video. We have too many properties. It's a nice problem to have, actually, but we felt the market sort of move, if you like, 2 to 3 months ago, and it's definitely happening. Over the weekend, I got a couple of emails in, the team in the office saying, look, I've got a lot to allocate this week. There are 7, we call it the hopper. This is our buyers. They have sourced 7 properties over the weekend at least. It might be, or I wouldn't say over the weekend, they've typed them up and got them in over the weekend. It's probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week. So like I say, depending when you're watching this, but I'm recording this on Monday morning. The video will be deleted by Thursday, and I'll tell you why at the end as well. Well, we should have allocated everything by then, you see. So yeah, they're there. Just to sort of let you know a little bit of our company. We're not a huge company. Sometimes when they meet us, think, oh, you must be doing loads and loads and loads of deals. We're doing between 10 and 12 properties every month, and we have been doing for the last couple of years. And just before COVID lockdown, we decided to go about seeing if we could up that number. We've got people all over the country now. I say all over the country, we've got 6 people, and that covers a big swathe of the country. We're getting some more as well, but 6 people. And realistically, throughout COVID, it's been tough. It's been really tough for them, but we've made it. We've made our target. Our target was for each of those people to buy at least 2 properties every single month, and we've done that. But what it meant was we turned the marketing right down, because we can allocate 2 properties, 12 properties, two each, 2 times 6. Relatively easy. We didn't really need to speak to many more clients. And actually, it was more than that. It's a bit irresponsible, isn't it? Just keeping talking about something that we can't actually fulfil. If we get lots of people out there wanting to buy properties, but we can't buy properties for them, then that's a bit unfair. It's a waste of everybody's time. But like I said, we saw the market move and change a couple of months ago, 2 to 3 months ago. It's really working now. The buyers are buying, they're buying more than 2 each, and we've just brought on 2 more buyers as well since the COVID days. So we're up to 15, 20 properties, and it all sort of came in last week where we're really getting going now, which is really, really good news for everybody. For us, obviously, as a business, for the buyers, they're feeling a lot happier, and for you as clients or potential clients, landlords, and want to be landlords, because it's a good point in the market. We're really looking forward to the next couple of years. Interesting point, actually, because I know this is something that comes up in our conversations. We have discovery calls with clients, with landlords, and want to be landlords, and this comes up a lot. The idea of what's coming up in the next few years. There's definitely some uncertainty. We'll probably be in a recession in the latter quarters of this year for sure. It's probably going to happen. And should we be holding off? We're going to try and time the market, and we don't time the market. You can't time the market, and also you don't need to time the market. The interesting thing is it's about buying the right house on the right street for the right price, and that doesn't matter what time it is. If you can buy the right house on the right street for the right price, put the right renovation in, refinance it in 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe 12 months, depends on the property, then that gain, that hard work and effort that you're doing buying the right house and the right street, you'll make an equity gain there that will 10 times any minor market drop. And the kind of houses that we buy, they're not really affected by a market drop. We don't, flats, smaller, cheaper flats might have been, but we don't really buy those. Of course, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 houses, they might get affected as well. They're the majority. That and flats are the majority of what happens in a downswing. But cheap, 50, 100, 150,000 pound family houses don't really get affected by the market drop in that same way, especially if we bought them in the right areas that are going up. Actually, sometimes you'll find prices are coming down, but the kind of stuff that we're buying is still going up because, well, if you're buying a house for less than you can build it for, then that's an underlying gain there, underlying sort of backstop. You can't come below that. And also, people, if they relocate, they're relocating down the chain, and that puts more demand in down the bottom end. So in terms of timing the market, don't hold off. If you start holding off or trying to time the market, you'll never get the job done. You won't build a portfolio inside 20 years. And it's about having jam today, not jam tomorrow, isn't it? So if you want to try and time it and do this, you'll be waiting a little gap of 3 years there and a gap of a decade there. All of a sudden your life's disappeared and you haven't bought anything. So we see that plenty often. So don't hesitate, just get stuck in, and now is really, really good time, because the reason that we haven't been finding these properties is simply volume. There was not enough properties on the market. So in order to find the bargain properties, all you need is stuff coming on the market, volume coming on the market. And throughout the COVID lockdown months, there just wasn't enough stuff coming on. That's why we're only buying 2 a month. Now, it's not quite like the floodgates have opened, but there's lots of people who wanted to move over the last couple of years, and they haven't. And now they're putting the properties on the market, and we're managing to look under those stones, turn them over, and find the stuff that we want to buy. And that's always there at any point in the market. There's always those kind of properties, unloved. There's some reason. Distress isn't a nice word, is it? But death, divorce, debt, all those things. It's not that we're taking advantage. These things happen in people's lives, don't they? And we're the people that can sort of swoop in and come to the rescue in many cases. We'll get your house bought in 2 weeks, and that's what you want and need. You want a nice, clean exit for a fixed price, and that's the kind of properties we buy. So, if you want a property, we've got 7 or 8 by the time it comes to you. If you watch this video on Tuesday or Thursday, I think we might even have more. Of course, some will have disappeared. I know as soon as this gets released, we'll get people calling up. 2 things that you can do. If you have met us before, email Harriet. So Harriet @For the Landlords, and put the word buy in the subject, and I'll put Harriet's email address in the description of this video. If you've not met us before, you've got to meet us before we can allocate properties. We don't just sort of wang deals out all over the internet. That's not the way we work. We need to make sure that you know what you're getting into. We have a really good conversation about what your expectations are, what we can deliver, and make sure that the 2 things are matched. We don't want anybody disappointed, because this is, we call it the best wealth creation method on planet Earth. But it's got its limitations, and you need to know what they are. If you get it wrong, it can become a real problem. We don't want you to get it wrong. So let's have that conversation first. What we do is we run a free discovery call on Zoom twice a week, and on Wednesday we've got 2. So go into the link in the description in the video, book a discovery call, click on that, and it takes you to an automatic page where there's 2 slots, one in the morning, one in the afternoon on Wednesday. And if you haven't met us before and you want to buy a property, you have to book on a discovery call, and I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll be on the call, Adam will be on the call, and Harriet will be on the call. And reason for the video today is Harriet and Adam are away on holiday as of next Monday, and so am I. So you see why I'm making this video. We don't normally make these kind of videos. Normally, give or take a couple of days, we don't need to push a video out to say that we need to allocate some houses. So a combination of having a few more, letting everybody know that we're back open for business. And it's never, not that we weren't closed, but you know, we definitely weren't. You'll have noticed there's just not as much marketing having gone out over the last couple of months, simply because, well, maybe a year and a half, simply because there wasn't enough houses. But we've got houses now, that's great, and there's a little bit of time pressure now because we're going away on holiday, which is nice, isn't it, in August. So yeah, the houses that are in the hopper now, I'm just looking down here, the houses that I can see in the hopper, you'll need anywhere between 100 and 200,000 pounds in cash to buy these ones. So if that's you, and I know that's a big chunk of change, but there's a lot of people out there that have got that. So yeah, there's 7 in there. You know, the usual purchase prices anywhere from sort of 70s and 80s. There's 3 or 4 in there for sort of 120 to 150,000 pounds. They've all got the usual 15, 20, 25,000 pound renovation on them. So some good equity should be made. People always ask me, and clients, you might, if we speak on Wednesday, my friends ask me, and you know, I'll always give you the same answer. So friends and family that we buy houses for, you know, which ones of these would you buy yourself? And the honest answer is, I'd buy any of them. So, you know, understanding the differences, you know, cheaper sort of 70, 80,000 pound house, it's easy to get into, it's less capital. Your end valuation is slightly more wayward, I guess. You know, there's less comparables. When they bump up to that sort of 120, 130, 140,000 pound mark, which they do quickly. We've never bought a 50,000 pound house that hasn't doubled in value in 5 years, and we always say that, and it's never not true, because they're just so cheap. They bump up nicely, but it's a bit, you know, when do they bump up? Is it now? Is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? You know, there's a little bit there, but of course, if you're leaving more percentage in, it's not as much cash, is it? Because it's a cheaper house. Whereas the sort of more expensive stuff, if you're dead set on getting as much money back out as you can, then you have to buy a slightly more expensive house to make the comparables at the other end, you know, what this thing's going to be worth, more bolted on, more locked on, more certain, you know, because you know, they're in the, there'll be more owner occupiers in them, they'll be trading more often, the more expensive houses, and it's more easily definable what the end value is. So if you want to, you know, want the best chance of getting your cash back out, buy the more expensive stuff. If they've got slightly lesser yield, of course, you know, because they're more expensive in the ratio. But when you're working out your return on capital employed, you can actually get a slightly better number. It all gets a bit technical, and that's why I said I'd buy any of them. You know, just if you know, when it comes to it, a house that's £75,000 or £125,000 that ends up being worth 100 or 150, you know, they're very, very similar, and they'll all rent out for similar amounts. The cheaper one versus the more expensive one, maybe there's £100 difference in the rent on it, and we're basically doing the same thing. We're buying it as cheap as we can, we are adding value, and then pulling our money back out. So if you want to look at some of those deals, email Harriet now, as long as you met us. If you haven't met us, book on a discovery call. You can ask me any question you've got. There's a morning or afternoon session this Wednesday. I might see some of you there. And this video is being pulled down on Thursday afternoon before we all go off on holiday. So bye for now.